breaking news, baby dolls. Ethereum has hit 3,600 American dollars. I'm going to give you a very special update video in honor of meth. We all love meth. I mean, who needs their teeth anyway? Of course, Bitcoin takes the show most of the time, doesn't it? But today, it's all about meth. Stop the candy. Stop the free dopamine, sunlight, music, your loved ones, chocolate. Stop them. We go straight for the meth. Meth is 3,650. It is cleared 3,600. This is a special update just to go through these things with you, friends, because I want to show you where we are and where we're going. The total crypto industry has hit 3.9 trillion altogether, which is enormous. I have drawn a Fibonacci from the top to the bottom. Our next pit stop is around 4.3 trillion. This is very low, right? There's definitely going to be some sort of resistance here at 6 trillion. And then, if we are lucky, we will see 10 trillion. I don't know if we're going to get it. I hope we get it. I believe we should get it. But it's not up to me, is it? It's up to those who watch on top of us. It's all in their hands now. Look at the Bitcoin dominance. It's now flipped red on the weekly super trend. It's been a long time coming. One candle. Bang. Now, this has to confirm by closing the week red, but pretty much like we know we're in an ultimate danger zone. I've got a lot of videos and coverage here for you, friends. I've got a video coming out for you to show you if there's a gun to my head, where do I think Bitcoin goes? Let's just show you how we construct this stuff and just to look at these things. There's total guesses out here, okay? Very interesting as well. This is the Ethereum price chart. This is the daily. See how it's done this enormous swoop up, like swap. Just look at this huge, giant move. And I gotta remember, look how bad it looked down at the bottom. I mean, we really thought it was game over, man. Like, I didn't want to be alive. I was just like, dude, what the hell is this? Can you believe it? And now look where we are right now. So, look, man, it was manipulation. How else do you explain liquidation, and then, oh, up only, we were never meant to be there anyway. You know, but it is what it is. This is markets, man. You know, this is markets, friends. Ethereum hitting 3,600. It's very close now to Richard Hart's entry level with the PulseChain SAC fund as well, which is around 3,800. Now, if you're curious as well, what we can do is we can go have a look at meth and check out its big long-term fractals just to see where the Fibonacci's are for its higher targets. Now, in kind-friendly fashion, this is the chart I was talking about. What you can do is, if you're curious at home, you can put this big macro chart. Make sure you're on linear. Do not make log. If you do log, what happens is you get enormously high bullish targets. Log-based fibs, it's for crack smokers. I love a bit of crack, you know, especially in Tuesdays. You know, crack in my cereal. Crack fizzle pop. That's what I'm talking about, kids. But you don't want to be doing that with the fibs. Otherwise, you'll never ever hit the targets, okay? So if you do the fib high to the low, remember we're touching from the high to the very, very low. First level, here we go, 7,300-ish. And then you have Ethereum will hit 1 trillion market cap here. This is the fib as I drew before. And then we're really hoping we get somewhere here. This is the second and the third based fib. No one knows how high they go. We can guess. We say they diminish. Maybe they don't. No one knows. We definitely know though. I mean, you got to hit one of these fibs, right? And then what happens next? So you get up here and then question mark, okay? When we stop, are we going to retest and die in the bear market? Or are we going to retest and believe a cycle before we die? That's what we don't know. The good thing is you and I have been long in this bear market and we have the cheapest of cheap prices. I know it's been taking forever. It's not exactly what we want to see, but it's a step in the right direction. You have the Bitcoin dominance, friends, here. It's creating this large 12-month wick. This is a 12-month chart of the Bitcoin dominance. Remember, everybody in the industry is pretty much turbo long Bitcoin and on leverage, and it's extremely dangerous because the business cycle has been suppressed, compressed, depressed, and everything in between for a very long time. Remember, Ethereum, friends, is a nice proxy of how the business cycle is doing. And this is the business cycle. You can measure it by the ISM manufacturing. And if you're curious as well, you can actually get a model, which shout out to Raoul Powell. They've actually made models to forecast where ISM is going in the future. And what they do is they use these business conditions index. And what are the business conditions made of? Well, they check out interest rates, oil, US dollar, and they just compute them for, like, you know, big macro stuff out here. And it kind of tells you where this thing is heading up. Right now, this has been really crushed for a long time. 32 months, man. 32 months. You see this? Look how this one was only 6 months, then 12, then 10. Now we're in 32, man. So it is just, it's wild. It's wild that's been that long, but I hope finally it's ready to now turn the corner. And remember, friends, I've made a post for you just so you can see about Ethereum's Hall of Shame, okay? Just so you can see, oh, man, this game, it's a tough game, friends. You're trading emotions, okay? I have a Hall of Shame here. Shame! Shame! Hall of Shame on you! Shame! You call yourself crypto hodlers, huh? Believers? Shame on you! Yeah, we're having fun here, friends. Obviously, when it comes down to it, you're trading emotions, right? So, look, man, friends, I know it's tough, okay? And you're watching a dude dressed like Helga the Viking as well. So it doesn't make it easier. But I'm just telling you now, okay? You can believe me or you're not, I don't give a crap. I know this is true because I've seen this 50,000 times. Esoteric knowledge coming for you, okay? Most of the time when people are talking, 99%, doesn't matter who they are, they're simply describing the color of the candle of their bags, okay? Most of the time. It's very hard to finally figure it out and see it unless you've done hours and hours and hours and hours, thousands of hours. You see this, you go, oh my gosh, everybody's just a bag pusher. Everyone. Whether they're bag pushers or not, doesn't matter. It oozes out of their mouths when they're speaking positively about something. You can basically guess their portfolio positions from that. So it's very tough, friends. That's why if you see, friends, the people who win, we use the word visionary, but it's not so easy because you're thinking about a world that's not here yet. And the bigger the opportunity, also, you could say, well, you could just be totally wrong about the world in the future. That's why it's tough. But that's why we sit here and we find stuff out. Like, friends, if you're in PulseChain, okay, it's about odds, okay? If a chain has 170 content creators and a pirate and a doctor and a fluffy microphone dude, okay, and all these other characters here, yeah, they have 170 content creators, 70 streamers, okay? They survived minus 99% from Hex to bootstrapped coin, okay? They're making noise right now. Richard Hart hasn't been streaming. They're still here. They host conferences themselves. Hex conference, PulseChain conference, PulseX conference. They host conferences themselves. We even had the PulseX prayer in the PulseX conference for the whole PulseChain community, okay? You're looking at that, you're like, okay, I don't know what the world's going to be like in 12 months. I don't actually know, but I'm just thinking, if the world gets better and friendlier, do you think these people are going to be quiet or loud? You think about it. It's not hard. It's deep value because they're already loud when it looks horrible. If we think it's going to get better, they're going to be super loud. Do you see? Think about something like Litecoin, friends. Now, I hope Litecoin pumps. Don't let my neighbor hear that. He's long Litecoin, okay? I hope Litecoin pumps. The thing is, though, is there a Litecoin army? Okay? What's even the Litecoin army called? LL, the Litecoin Lesbians. You know, I'd join that. You know, it'd be like the Homer Simpson in the gay and lesbian bar episode, if you remember that, friends. So, the Litecoin Lesbians, are they going to be showing themselves when the price pumps? Maybe. But I want to see, is there a Litecoin conference where all these lesos of Litecoin, where are they? I know they're out there somewhere. You know, you hang around, you go around the right bars or the wrong bars, down the wrong alleyways, right? You eventually stumble upon them. But they're not there right in front. You see? And by the way, the whole industry has heard about Litecoin already. So all these people and all their opinions, some people are going to get offended at this, but I'm just going to have to do this, friends. I'm going to draw a giant green poop emoji. But I'm going to give it a happy face, okay? It's smelly, it's stinky. That's it, man. You should know better. The whole industry is built off delaying gratification. Do you know that? That's the whole industry. Network effects. We go parabolic. Thank you to Aaron out here as well. You're a cock because you're not a visionary. You're not sniffing what I sniff. You're living in the now. The now's already priced in. If you want to invest, you've got to invest for the future. There you go. I said this last year. Same thing. Same thing. You're not investing based off today. Okay, friends? That's what I tell you. Most people, when they talk, they go, oh, this thing is bad. This thing is bad. This thing is bad. Have you learned nothing? It's not about today. Today is priced in. It's about tomorrow. Here's an example for you. Solana. Soy ETH. Is there another president of the world who can launch a token on Solana? No. Trump already did it. One example here for you, okay? And with this, friends, I know some people are getting a bit antsy in their pants. We'll play some Pumpy G music for those people. So as Ethereum continues to crank up, we're going to see the slingshot leverage effect take effect. Remember as well, I made the slingshot leverage words. I made that term. It came directly from me. And the key word is slingshot. Okay, do you know how a slingshot works? You've got a peg in your hand. You are pulling back the slingshot, okay? You don't know when the hand's going to release. You just know when it does, someone's going to get a peg in the head. What people unfortunately do is, because they're like, just soy boys, friends. Soy boys will completely misconstrue the slingshot leverage effect and how these things work. And they'll start crying about day-to-day movements. I want to show you something, okay? Here's something for the soy boys. I remember when you were crying about Bitcoin deviating away from the money printer in 2022. I remember. Look at this. Look at this, friends. Bitcoin was capitulating and they were still printing global M2 money. You see? They were still printing money. But we went down. Imagine you were hyper-focusing on this. In the moment, it would have looked really bad, wouldn't it? But look at this, man. This is the $30,000 BTC. This is an $18,000 BTC. I say you're doing pretty good right now compared to that, huh? So the thing is, though, if it was as easy as knowing the inflection point that you have to wait for before you buy all the risk on stuff, you would never ever need to like basically invest in anything. You just wait for that super critical moment. It's the equivalent of waiting for the US Fed to like print money so you can buy altcoins or buy risk on or buy S&P 500. But look at that, S&P 500 is just going up without them. That's why I actually think what's going to happen in the next cycle, friends, because we've had, this is the OTHERS-BTC ratio, because we've had such a bad long run for a long time, I think when we go up in the next cycle, all right, it's probably going to have a little tick up higher earlier than we think. Basically, what I'm saying is, because we've had such a bad run now, I think in the next cycle, the business cycle will surprisingly be strong without them cutting rates. And it will come out earlier. And that'll be altcoins gaining on Bitcoin faster. And it's just because of today. Because we've rinsed out so many weak hands. See, it's a dominoes effect that happens. But you never really worry about what was the particular domino that made us fall. It's all about positioning. Right now, you know, okay, the market is positioned pretty much for Ethereum to stay dead if Bitcoin to go up forever and altcoins to never recover. That's what the market was mostly positioned for. And positioned for Solana as well. What if that thing's pricing and we move on to something else? That's why I'm very confident in the next bear market, people are going to buy Bitcoin too early. And then so begins the next positioning. But we'll worry about that next bear market when we actually get there. So if we're dealing with slingshot leverage and you're a baby doll out there, if we're dealing with these slingshot leverage, it's important that we have a look at PulseChain. PulseChain core coins right? We're waiting for, I guess, these big whales. Maybe the big whales are done now. Maybe we're actually going to start to rotate up. So hopefully as Ethereum cranks up, we're going to see some sort of God candle run move up here, and then we can worry about that next part. The good thing is everything's finally starting to move up. I think the next target is that $7,200 for ETH, right? Anything below that, friends, we didn't have to pretty much worry, okay? I don't have to worry. Yeah, up and down. Is it over? No one gives a crap, okay? That's the target. Now we just pretty much, you cross your fingers, you say your prayers, and you hope that everything just runs up as fast as it can, okay? On top of everything, remember, the OTHERS-BTC chart is pretty much most critical to me. Right now, it's 13. See, 0.13. That means others is only 13% of Bitcoin's market cap. At the top of 2021, it was 44%. All right, that number 44% here. Now we're down to 13. We've round-tripped 8 years. That's horrific, okay? I will only get nervous, I believe, at 45. Pretty much. Once you get to be 45, I'm nervous. All right. I don't think I click sell and everything. I'm just like, well, now I'm actually where we got to think about stuff. All right. But anything under here, I'm not nervous whatsoever. All right. So hopefully this is the first of many up candles to go. This is a monthly chart. We've had just one, and more alpha friendship for you, but you don't know if this is going to repeat, right? In the past, alt seasons with OTHERS-BTC, they've either gone 5 or 6 green months in a row. So this is just one. So if let's say we did go the full 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it would be December. If we ran up only, no pausing, no red months for OTHERS-BTC. So I know I've drawn this thing here, but it is possible, friends. I know, like it's hard to imagine, but this is technically possible where we do that. Where we have an up-only run for 6 months, and then we got to get out in December. And just to let you know, I'm just sharing with everyone out here, the cycle move that would wreck the most amount of people in a trap is to finish in December. Okay? Why? The 4-year cyclers get wrecked because they're all selling now. Okay? And then the extended cycle guys get wrecked because they're euphoric at the end of this year and they don't want to leave. So I wonder if we're going to get that. But for now, we've only had one green candle. All right. So, we got quite a while to go. Ethereum, $3,000 zone finally gets to get cleared soon. We can move into 4,000, and then we'll talk about the higher targets when we get there. Catch you in the next one.